So guys, welcome to the simulation inside the simulation. I am Tooodamngolden, your VR Voyager, and today's video is going to be a bit of a pivot, folks, as my Stride Face video was supposed to drop today, but instead we are going to be taking a look at one of the single most important game releases in the history of VR so far, as ladies and gentlemen, Assassin's Creed Nexus VR is here, and boy is it making waves in the VR sphere. Now right off the back, let me just say that the visuals of this one are absolutely gorgeous, and the world of Assassin's Creed Nexus is unlike anything else I've experienced in VR so far, especially considering that this is only for Quest standalone, not available for, PC VR or PSVR 2, so kudos to the guys at Ubisoft for that. But this is not a scaled back side quest filling title at all, which was my biggest concern coming into this one, as Ubisoft really has provided gamers with damn near the full Assassin's Creed experience in VR, with the only caveat being that instead of being a true open world title, it is open map, open area sections, which are pretty large, and there is a lot to explore, but it is not a true open world scenario like you would get in the other Assassin's Creeds, but damn near everything in the levels are fully interactable. And as I'm only about 6 hours into this one, I must say that I have been loving it so far. Now, traversal is the absolute highlight in this game, with players being able to pretty much climb, jump, and move about as freely as you can in the flat iterations of this franchise. And once you remove some of those comfort settings that are toggled by default, guys, you truly do get one of the most surreal experiences imaginable in VR. You can scale buildings, leap across rooftops, and of course, live out your parkour wet dreams throughout the streets of a well-crafted ancient Greece, Rome, or revolutionary Boston without a hitch most times, and I truly am impressed with just how well this works in VR. I cannot stress that enough. Now, one thing that veterans of the series will undoubtedly love is the return of several familiar faces, with both Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane from the Brotherhood being prominently featured, in addition to the reappearance, of course, of iconic assassins Ezio, Cassandra, and Connor, which provides even more credence to the notion that this is a true entry into this series as opposed to a gimmicky afterthought simply to break in some cash. Now, admittedly, in my opinion so far, combat is the weakest aspect of this game, but only in the context of combat outside of stealth kills, as leaping from a high tier and driving your hidden blade into an enemy is some of the most satisfying VR gameplay that I've experienced to date, and the throwing knives are also a very surprising treat. But one-on-one solo combat feels just a bit off to me, to be completely honest, with AI being just a tad slow to process player movements. Parrying and blocking feel pretty inconsistent at times. However, this could just be me personally, and I could suck, and that's fully could be the case, right? But I will definitely be sure to look deeper at this when next week's full comprehensive Assassin's Creed Nexus review drops, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be among the first to catch that video when it drops, folks. Of course, we cannot talk about an Assassin's Creed game without talking about stealth, and the stealth instances in Assassin's Creed Nexus are out of this world, as there is something that is truly magical about the heart-pumping, intense moments where you're being searched for by a group of guards, and you do something as simple as blend in with the crowd, right? Or, of course, you can take that iconic leap of faith into a pile of hay, but the absolute level of immersion that VR brings to this title is truly indescribable without actually putting on the headset yourself. And once again, the team did a absolutely amazing job of making all of these elements blend together for a seamless experience. Now, as I've already stated, folks, I am only about 6.5 hours into this one as of the time of this recording, right? So I cannot speak to the full payoff of the game's overall narrative, but what I can speak to is this so far appears to be a fully constructed narrative comparable to that of the flat versions, right? And it is a very well voice acted, with the original voice actors for the individual assassins reprising their respective roles, and the various primary NPCs that you encounter are also very well voice acted. It really doesn't appear that this will be shipped out here kind of in a jagged state, right? It wasn't just a rushed, ill-fated, not well put together title. It does seem that Ubisoft really did put a lot of time into this one, and this title definitely represents a huge step forward for VR gaming, particularly in the standalone marketplace. Alright guys, so this is a very polished title, and while I can't give a final verdict at this moment as I haven't yet completed this title, we could be potentially looking at standalone VR's Half-Life Alyx, as Ubisoft has absolutely crushed it with this one, and this could could be that seismic shift that VR needs to pull more AAA studios into the realm of VR overall. So that's pretty much all that I have for now. I just wanted to talk about my experience with Assassin's Creed Nexus thus far, as I am absolutely adoring it so far, and I can't wait to share my final thoughts with you next week in the full Assassin's Creed Nexus review video, so hopefully I'll see you there. As always, I am Tooodamngolden, your VR Voyager, and thanks for joining me in the simulation inside the simulation.